y'all. I'm Donna.
And I'm Carrie.
And we are Paranormal Chicks.
Episode 28.
Yay! Rockin' and a-rollin'.
Rockin' and rollin' and whatnot.
What movie is that from?
Duh, Grease.
Yes. Sandy. Okay.
I have a thing.
Wait. Before your thing.
Okay.
More important than that.
Okay.
Wanema.
You are the shiz.
Yes, you are. Tell her why.
Oh, well, everything. No. So, Wanema upped her Patreon, so she is a beautiful creepster now.
Yes, she is.
And she gets the bonus episodes, and she gets the bloopers.
Mm-hmm. A discount.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. All that good, great stuff. So, for real, thank you. And also, thank you for all of your freaking amazing stories that you send in for our sinister sightings.
Yes. Now my thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big news today.
Okay.
Bill Cosby was finally sentenced.
Oh my God. Hooray, hooray, hooray.
You want to know what he got?
Yes, I do. Hit me with those fucking digits.
All right. He has no less than 3 years and no more than 10 years.
Okay, so 7.
It's like when you're baking and it gives you a range and then you just pick the middle number. I cook it 21 to 25 minutes and you're like, okay, 23.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, and he also has to register as a sex offender.
Hell yeah.
So I wonder if he's really going to serve all 3 years.
Probably not.
He's probably going to get like pneumonia. I mean, like, I don't mean this ugly, but like he's probably going to get like pneumonia or something in prison and it either kill him or he gets like compassionate release.
Probably.
He's 80 fucking 1.
I don't care if he's 90 fucking 1.
No. I'm not saying he shouldn't. No. Send that motherfucker to jail.
Send it.
He did it. He guilty.
I thought you were going to say he did.
No, he did it. He's guilty. A jury of his peers convicted him.
Yes. Look, he's good for 3 years unless Tiffany puts the mouth on him, and then he did.
Tiffany, don't say anything about him.
Don't even think about it. Fast forward through this segment. Just go.
You know, it's like I always loved Bill Cosby. And like the thing with Bill Cosby is that he makes really good fucking faces that make really fucking good gifs. And I want to use them all the time, but I don't let myself because he's a piece of shit.
Right.
And I hate that.
I know.
Because some of his gifts are fucking good.
Yes, they are. But I mean, we use like Jeffrey Dahmer stuff.
Okay, but that's different.
That he ate people?
No, I'm saying like him making like a stupid funny face from the Bill Cosby show. I'm not using. I don't know. Is that weird? Is that y'all let us know what you think. To use or not to use Bill Cosby's face?
I mean, you can use it for toilet paper.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go somewhere.
Oh, I was, but
mustache riding and shit, and I thought you were going to take a big turn.
Oh, no. No one wants to ride those whiskers.
So I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But you surprised me. That's all I have.
Oh, okay. Just that big fucking whopper of a news.
Just wanted to just drop that bomb. Let y'all marinate on it. Decide how you feel to gif or not to gif.
Oh my God. Okay. So then this is where my brain goes, trying to make a fucking joke. I mean, albeit a dad joke. Maybe not even as good of a dad joke, but then I was thinking how he always does Jello. And then I was trying to spell gel like that. And then, yeah, didn't work out.
Oh. I finally listened to Dr. Death.
Finally.
Y'all, go listen to that podcast.
Unless you have, like, phobias about doctors, don't do it, though.
Yeah, true. This is a true story.
Yes.
All about how his life got flipped, turned on the dime. No, in all seriousness, pissed me right the fuck off.
Oh, God. So bad.
I can't, like, so many... It's so bad. Anyway, So y'all go listen to it because it's really good. It's just a 6-part series, and that's it. Yeah. So it's a quick listen.
It's a quick listen, and half of it's ads.
I was going to say, I didn't want to say, but I wanted to say that there's a lot of fucking ads.
I mean, it might be a mini season, but damn, they got their ads worth.
They got, yeah. Like, it was enough that made me go, God almighty, they got a lot of fucking ads.
Normally, I don't skip through ads, but it's like, because I was so involved in the story that when it happened, I was like, fuck, I want to know what's going next. And so, like, I would skip them for that. And I never skip ads. And I was just like, oh my God, there's literally 3, and I want to know what happens next.
And then you hear 5 more minutes, and then there's 3 more.
Yes. So that was my only gripe about it.
Yeah, but the people who do it are so big.
Yeah.
That, like, it's like a production. You know?
Yeah.
They are not a little indie podcast.
For sure.
So, but anyway, good listen, quick listen.
Yes.
Check it out.
The next one I want to do is that cult that Tracy told us about, escaping, whatever. I want to do that one, and funeral stories.
Yeah, me
Tracy
too.
has told us about that, and I haven't done that yet.
I also started catching up on Ghost in the Burbs.
Girl, I can't even talk because breaking fucking news. She tweeted at us, like she liked a tweet that we sent, and she saved it as her background. Like
on her phone.
Home screen.
Like, on her fucking phone, y'all.
On her phone.
We are total fangirling right now.
Like, I squealed. It hurt Marbu's ears. I was like, what? Like, I can't comprehend this right now. Liz, I love you. And I cannot wait till it's a show. I know this is going to be a show on Netflix, Hulu, something. It's going to happen because it's that freaking good.
Yeah, it's really good. Yes. Okay. You ready to get going?
I don't think so. Oh, I do have one more thing to say.
Okay.
By the time y'all are hearing this...
Oh, yeah.
Don't steal my thunder.
I'm not.
Okay. By the time y'all are hearing this... Tell them, Carrie. Okay. By the time y'all are hearing this, for real, we will have new merch out.
Halloween merch.
And true crime merch. Yeah. Off Broadway. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's going to be... I had to steal the thunder. I had to chime in.
Go ahead.
I don't even know what I was going to say. It's amazing. That's all I know.
Yeah, I like it. It's a lot of coffee cups, but I mean...
Who doesn't need more coffee cups? And Kelly, before you say a damn word, listen in, my sister, who unpacked all my kitchen shit and washed all my kitchen shit that had been in storage for 4 years and put it in my cabinets. Yes, I do need more coffee cups. Like, right. Eventually, she and my sister, Christy, just stopped. They're like, we're not putting more shit in these cabinets.
That's hilarious.
Figure out what to do with those 4 totes you have left of kitchen shit. We're done. Legit, they worked on it for like 2 days. But anyway.
Thank God. But she digresses.
Everybody needs coffee cups.
Yes. Everyone needs coffee.
That's the damn truth. Coffee is life. Coffee from a true crime mug is even eternal better. Life.
Yes.
So check out the new merch and the old merch if you hadn't gotten any.
Yes.
And if you become Patreon member, you get discounts.
Who are you? You can't make anything happen because you don't stick with it. Patreoner.
Oh, what'd I say?
Patreon member.
Oh,
like
we're
you're
making...
so fancy. A Patreon member. Don't church it up, Joe Dirte.
Okay. Patreon earner.
If you're in the creep anatomy and you're a Patreoner.
Because we really... Okay, they know the joke. All right. Moving on to my story.
All right. Talk murder to me.
The story I'm about to do was on a few things that you may or may not have watched / listened to. So it was on an episode of Your Worst Nightmare on Investigation Discovery.
That show.
This is the second story I've done for Your Worst Nightmare.
Because I know the one that you talked about, my boo-boo Danny. But you know what? I've wanted to see that one, and I'm like, new and reruns. Like, let's get this going.
You know you can just download the ID app and watch it, because I totally watched this episode today on my lunch break.
Really?
Yeah, just download the ID app. Now, you have to sign in with your service provider.
Okay, yeah, so I got that.
Yeah, and then you can have access to all the episodes.
What the fuck? You mean I've been sifting through this like I'm digging for fucking gold, and I
you had access to this the whole time. Why did I sound like the guy from Sebastian from Little Mermaid?
And you did your hands like that. She's got crabs, y'all.
He's a lobster. Look, I'm going to church that up. I'm a lobster, okay?
Whatever, you're still crusty.
Oh, God. Okay, anyway, it was on that. They also did this on My Favorite Murder.
Oh, girl.
And it was an episode of Forensic Files.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Fucking vector.
I know. Look, all of my favorite things. So I am doing the familial side from John List. John List was born in Bay City, Michigan. He was the only child of German-American parents, John Frederick List and Alma Marie Barbara Florence List.
Oh, my gosh. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
His name was my name, too. So they were a very devout Lutheran family.
Okay.
Went to church every Sunday, whatever else Lutherans do. In 1943, he joined the Army. He was in the infantry as a labor technician in World War II. He was discharged in 1946 and then went to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, where he got his bachelor's in business administration and his master's in accounting.
Awesome.
Smart cookie. And then was a lieutenant through the ROTC. In 1950, he was recalled back to active military status as the Korean War was escalating. So he moves to Virginia, where he meets Helen Morris Taylor, who was a widow of another infantry officer who was actually killed in Korea. And so they got married in December of 1951.
Did he know the person?
I don't think so.
Because that's like a romance kind of, what's his name? Nicholas Sparks kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to tell you that he died and he wanted you to have this. And then it's like, I'm going to take care of you. And then it's like, I love you. And then it's like, I'm going to kill you.
I was going to say, this is not a love story Nicholas Sparks would write. In 1952 is when, after he completed his second tour, he started working for an accounting firm in Detroit. And that's where they had their 3 children. Patricia, or Patty, she was the oldest, Frederick, and then John Jr. I never understand why if someone names their second son John, it's like, why didn't you do the first one if you were going to do that?
Yeah.
I don't ever get that. But anyway. So they bounced around a couple of different places, from Kalamazoo to...
Is that a real place?
Yeah. Never heard of Kalamazoo?
Yeah, I thought it was like Timbuktu.
Timbuktu's a real place, too.
I know. I figured that out in college.
I mean, I can't tell you what state it is, but I can tell you Kalamazoo's a real place.
Washington?
I thought that, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe because it was just talking about Detroit.
What's the instrument you play?
A kazoo.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in Michigan. From Kalamazoo, they moved to Rochester. From there, they moved to Jersey City, New Jersey. And that's where they buy this huge, like, Victorian-style mansion in Breezy Knoll. And it was a 19-room home. Huge fucking house.
Holy Hannah.
So it's him, his wife, Helen, their 3 kids, and his mother, Alma. Alma, check your battery. Fucking love that name.
Oh my gosh, right?
The List family was not that of a happy one.
Oh, well, apparently not. They need 19 rooms to stay away from each other.
Right. So, John List's, his wife, Helen, was a bit of an alcoholic. And by a bit, I mean a lot. So, she didn't work. He did. He was an accountant. Was basically like, he was a comptroller at a bank. So, fancy schmancy job.
Mm-hmm.
Can afford a 19-year-old mansion. 19-room mansion. But, again, it was not happy. Helen she drank all the time. Like, basically sun up to sundown. She was really mean, not only to John, but to the kids as well.
Oh, nobody likes a mean drunk.
Yeah, and I don't think, she wasn't from nothing I found, she wasn't abusive, like physically. She was just verbally abusive, especially to John. So John was exactly what you kind of think of when you think of an accounting nerd. And this this is coming from my mom and my sister are accountants, and they're not nerds. And it's okay if you are an accounting nerd. He just was very, like, straight-laced. He's a Sunday school teacher at the Lutheran church, which is a very conservative Christian sect or denomination, So, again, just a very straight-laced, rule follower kind of guy. Well, Helen's previous husband, who was killed in action, was kind of what you think of when you think of, like, a man's man. Like, again, we're talking, like, 1960s, 70s. So, looking at, like, those traditional, not even values, but roles, They were a very nuclear family. And then she had this husband that she idolized that was very strong and masculine, and he died in duty. And she would often compare the two to John and basically tell him how subpar he was compared to her husband that died.
Right.
Not only manly in the kind of everyday sense, but she would compare them sexually to John and be like, "You're terrible, he was amazing," kind of thing, and just berate him all of the time.
I'd be like, "Well, we got kids, so you must have liked my 2-pump chump shit."
Oh my god, 2-pump chump! I mean, I guess it did the job for somebody.
Right? Like, I'd be like, okay, well, you suck too.
Just not enough.
Yes.
Okay. So, in the house, it was 3 stories. And on the top, on the 3rd story, that's where Alma lived.
Okay.
But, which, I can remember watching this on Your Worst Nightmare and honestly Forensic Files because I've watched them all. Even before I decided to do this story. And I was like, how does she go up and down all those stairs?
They didn't have an elevator?
Mm-mm. And she's like old, like 81.
Did they have one of those things where you sit and you go, like up the stairs?
Yeah, chairlift? No.
Yeah, that's what that's called.
No, and she had like, it was, the whole 3rd floor was hers. So I guess she had everything she needed. And they would take her food and stuff.
She was a freaking recluse.
Well, that's the thing. The whole family was.
Oh.
They were, the only thing that they did was basically go to church and come home, go to school, come home. And that's how John wanted it, because he wanted them involved in the church, but he didn't want them involved in worldly things.
Yeah.
And
the secular world.
Yeah. And so one of the things that became an issue was their oldest daughter, Patty, was starting to get involved in school plays and stuff. And John was like, absolutely not. You're not going to become an actress. And she was like, but I want to become an actress. And he's like, no, the fuck you're not. That is too worldly and of the devil kind of thing.
Right.
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah.
And she was starting to hang out with boys more and, have a boy come over to run lines or drive her to school and that kind of thing. And so John just was pissed. He was not okay with that she's wanting to be an actress. She's starting to talk to boys because it's, he's of the belief that you don't date until you're like ready to be married.
Right.
And you date who you're going to marry, or you court who you're going to marry. So the other thing too is that supposedly Helen had said that she wanted him to take her off the membership list at the church, and that because she never went to church with him, and she was like, I don't believe anymore. I want you to take me off the list. And so he's like, can't fucking have that.
Like, what does it matter if she's on the list?
It's for her, I feel like it was probably the principle of it. She was like, I don't go. I don't believe in it. I don't want to be a member of that church. So I want to rescind my membership.
Right. I'd be like, all right, rescinded. Peace.
Or be like, okay, I did it. And then didn't actually do it.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. So John had a good job, made good money. He just wasn't good at it.
Oh, shit.
And so he had a lot of trouble with interpersonal skills and relating to his customers and that sort of thing. Made a lot of mistakes. And so they fired him because He sucked.
Yeah. He needs to do remote stuff like me.
Yeah.
Can I be dry eyes?
I was going to say you sound like Bueller.
What's that called? Telecommuting. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. VPN in. That's all I know. So he lost his job.
Let me guess. Helen was like, my ex-husband would never have lost his job. You scrub.
Because he's so wrapped up in this image of being this provider and all of these things and leading this, like, godly life and God provides for his own kind of thing. So he did not tell his family that he lost his job. So he would go every single day. Like, he would get dressed for work, send the family off, would go every single day to the Westfield train station and just sit there, like, read his newspaper.
Oh, my God, I know this.
You probably saw it on The Thing or My Favorite Murder.
But if it's episode 20, there ain't no way I remember that.
So he's hanging out at the train station, reading his paper, people watching, whatever the fuck he did all day.
Right.
And then when it's time for him to go home from work is when he'd go home and just pretend like it never happened. So that went on for a while.
Oh my gosh.
Around that time, too, Helen started kind of having these, like, freak out moments where she would have, like, hallucinations and would, like, lose vision for a little bit and everything.
From the alcohol?
No, actually. So she actually ended up having syphilis from her previous husband that he got it when he was in Korea.
Oh, he's an all-star, right?
Mm-hmm. And so some stuff said that she hid it from him and that she pressured him into getting married by saying that she was pregnant, which I'm like, so they're devout Lutherans that had sex before marriage? I don't know about that. But that she pressured him in saying that she was pregnant and that she, like, made him get married in Maryland because Maryland doesn't, at the time, require a blood test. So it wouldn't show her syphilis.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't know if that's still the law there or not. But, so in 1969 is when she had the checkup, like, because she was having all these problems that ended up it was syphilis.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't at risk for getting it because it was, like, dormant in her. Like, it was dormant in her in that it could not be spread, but it affected her. Yeah, but it affected her. So he didn't have it.
Yeah. Oh, God, if I was John, I'd be like, oh, he can fuck better, huh? Yeah, he fucked that Korean girl and got you a great little gift.
Yeah. The gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm. And taking your vision. Mm-hmm. So sit on that, motherfucker.
Damn. Donna is lit over Helen.
I don't like people who just, like, keep
berate people
doing
like that.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like you push them to the brink and then get pissed when they break.
Yes, but I just cannot stand that when people are like, so-and-so used to do this. Well, they're not with you. Mm-hmm. So move the frick on. Like, I know he died, but, like, you got married.
Yeah.
Like, you wanted something. Mm-hmm. So just chill the fuck out. See, this is... I give zero fucks on that stuff. Why I'm single, because I will go off on the stupidest shit. Be like, oh, you like her? Go with her. Peace. Bye-bye. Bye.
Donna is lit. I wish I could see her face.
You know that's how I am.
No, I know. Donna is fucking cutthroat.
Ex-boyfriend that, had, like, 20 years ago. Really, though, it was, like, 6.
Go ahead.
Anyway, but... broke up with him because he invited his friend to go to a movie, and I hated his friend anyway, but it was that stupid No Country for Old Men. I didn't even want to see that fucking movie, but he's like, I want to see it, because he was like a for real history buff, I'm not a history buff, but a history major, that thing. But it was when we were going to exchange Christmas gifts and shit. Now, it's like, I didn't get your friend a gift, and I'm not going to sit there and open presents in front of your friend. And he's like, whatever. He liked this movie. I'm like, he's seen it before? Like, and I was like, you know what? We done. We are done. Like, if you don't want to come hang out with me and exchange gifts, we done.
Yeah. Which you're right, though. Like, yes. It seems so trivial, but if you look at, like, the grander scheme of things. And clearly that was his decision. He didn't want to just be with you and do this. He wanted his friend to be there. So clearly he wasn't in it to win it. So deuces.
Yes.
But I am like, okay.
Hell no.
I'm a bitch. I'm like you in every other every other situation in life, except when it comes to men. And I'm like, okay, you want to be an asshole? Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? He called me that night after he watched the fucking movie.
Oh, of course.
But he was like, I really want to give you your gifts. And I was like, I mean, I'm going to take yours back. And he's like, no, I want to exchange. And so we went and ate. He paid for the meal and we exchanged our gifts. And I got what I wanted. And we were like, peace.
Damn.
But go ahead. Back to John. Sorry, that was my life.
Okay. One thing that aggravated me is that there's a quote saying that because she was an alcoholic and had syphilis, the quote is, it transformed her from an attractive young woman to an unkempt and paranoid recluse. Fuck you.
Oh my God, can we create that as a soundbite? Fuck you.
Well, I mean, first of all, of course she went from young to old. It was fucking 18 years they were married.
Right.
I don't know. That aggravated me that was like this quote, but I had to read it and bitch about it. So anyway, we're going to fast forward. This is 1971 and everything's kind of at a boiling point. Mm-hmm. Helen is incredibly mean to him and the kids emotionally abusive. His daughter's like doing the actress thing, but talking to boys.
Yeah, rebelling.
Mm-hmm. He lost his job.
But no one knows.
But Patty finds out.
Oh, shit. Patty
finds some mail that talks about a foreclosure on the house, repossessing the car, like all this stuff. And so she's like, Dad, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Obviously, she didn't say fuck. But she's like, what is this?
I mean, she was rebelling. She probably did.
She may have. Okay, so what the fuck is this? What's going on? And he's like, nothing, don't worry about it. And she's like, no, they're like talking about taking the house and the car and that we don't have any money. Like, what's going on? Because this whole time he had kind of been skimming some money off the top from his mom's account because he took care of her. So it was like just enough to keep him eating kind of thing. But he was her caretaker too, so...
But still.
Yeah. So it was just kind of like this, at this boiling point where something was going to give.
Yeah.
And crack, and it was going to be John. So John feels like his life has fallen apart. His wife and his kids are going to go to hell because his wife is an alcoholic and wants to leave the church and all these things, and his daughter is going to be an actress and kiss a boy. I don't fucking know. Yeah. And so he's like, I got to kill him. I got to kill him to save him.
Yeah. I got to kill him before they go to hell.
Exactly. Before they live their lives to send him to hell. So picture it. November 9th, 1971. So picture it. November 9th, 1971. He gets his 9mm semi-automatic handgun and his father's Colt 22 caliber revolver. Sends his kids off to school, and his wife is in the kitchen drinking her coffee, probably with a little Bailey's in it.
Mm-hmm. Out of our true crime mug.
Mm-hmm. They had a lot of them. And he shoots her in the back of the head.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. And so after he kills Helen, she was 46, in the back of the fucking head, he goes
Coward.
He goes upstairs to the 3rd floor, has a little chat with his mom, shoots her in the left eye.
Damn.
Yeah, so his mom was 84. I think I said 81 earlier, but I kind of made it up. But she really was 84.
Damn.
Yeah. So after he killed Helen and Alma, he goes to the bank to close out all of his accounts and his mother's account to get all the money. Then he goes, runs some errands to tell the newspaper, the mail, the milk, all of them, hey, we're going to go out of town for about a month. My wife's mother is sick. She's dying. And so we have to go to North Carolina for about a month. So hold our mail, hold our milk, hold our papers, everything. So then he goes home, makes himself a sandwich, and waits for the kids to come home.
Damn.
So a few different articles and shows have the order for, like, that the kids came home differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some stuff says that Patty and Frederick came home at the same time. Some stuff says Patty came home first and then the boys came home. So just know that it may be different depending on what you watched or what you read. But we're going to go with it.
When did Sonny come home?
I can't remember the lyrics. Sonny came home.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so Patty came home and he shot her in the head. And then after that, in the back of the head. And then after that, Frederick...
John Jr.?
Yeah, came home. And he shot them in the back of the head. But I do want to say, though, that, you know how I said that some stuff has them coming home different times? One thing said that so that Patricia and Frederick came home, shot them in the back of the head. Then he went and watched John Jr. play in a soccer game and then drove him home. They had a good chat on the way home, drove him home, then shot him in the face and the chest.
Damn.
So, by all accounts, John Jr. was the one. He was 15, by the way. Frederick was 13. Patty was 16. Well, that doesn't make any damn sense about all the ages of the Junior and the Frederick.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, I swear to God, one of the articles said that it was Frederick and then John Jr. in age. And that's why I was like, why is it? That doesn't make any sense. So just know that I suck, but not that bad.
But not that much.
Okay.
Not enough.
So, but it said that that John Jr., when he killed him, that this is terrible to say it this way, but he just wouldn't fucking die. And so he suffered more because he was clinging on to life, and so he had to shoot him more. So he shot him in the head, and then he had to shoot him in the chest. You know, just I think he had like 5 bullet wounds. I can't remember, but he just had to be shot more because he lived through the first couple.
And Helen woke up and said, "My ex-husband could shoot better than that."
Damn. So
I'm sorry.
So the blood splatter stuff indicates that they were mostly all shot in the kitchen. So after he shot them, he dragged them all into the ballroom because their house was big enough that it had a fucking ballroom.
Right.
So he dragged them all into the ballroom, put them in sleeping bags, and, like, closed them up. So in the ballroom was Helen and the 3 kids.
Okay.
In their sleeping bags. But he left his mom's body up on the 3rd floor in her apartment because she was too heavy to drag down.
Damn.
Yeah. And so...
Man, that'd be my luck. And so I'd even be alone.
In death?
Mm-hmm.
So after he killed everybody and put them where he wanted them, he cleaned up as much of the blood as he could.
Right.
And then he wrote a 5-page letter to the pastor of his church talking about how they had to die to keep them from going to hell, that he wasn't going to kill himself because suicide is the ultimate sin, and all of these things, and so that he wasn't going to kill himself. So then he cut his face out of all of the pictures in the house.
Well, that's tedious.
I wonder if he had an X-Acto knife or if he just folded them and cut a circle.
I mean, if you want to do that, just light a cigarette and burn them or something.
Oh, shit, that's smart.
Yeah.
Oh, he was Lutheran. He didn't smoke.
Well, he killed people and lied.
Okay, so cut his face out of all of the pictures in the house, turned the radio up loudly on like a religious station, and then turned the air conditioner down to 50. Well, it's the November, but just made sure that the house was at 50.
Yeah, so it wouldn't
nice
smell
and cool.
Yeah.
Leaves all the lights on in the house and just leaves.
Because he ain't paying that fucking bill.
Ups and vanishes like a fart in the wind.
What movie?
Shawshank. So, now, again, you got to remember, the family's notoriously reclusive. Yeah. And so, he also said, hey, we're going to be out of town for a month. So, there wasn't like there was newspapers piling up or the milk piling up or the whatever.
Can I just say that I miss the days that I never got to experience of milk being delivered to you.
I was just about to say, you never had that.
Yes. But I mean, Walmart pickup, excellent. But shit being delivered to me,
Well, some places have
even
that.
better. Well, not here in rural America.
Well, I don't know why you kind of sound like you were Yiddish. Little.
Anywho's it. I mean, I want milk delivered to me, and
You don't even drink milk.
Well, yeah, but I would still like the opportunity. And hello,
You just want to have sex with a milkman. Yeah.
You know my motives. Pour some milk on me. Don't let it be skim.
Okay, so it's been a while. They have been hearing the music. They've been seeing all the lights on, but haven't seen them. But again, you know, he told them about the milkman. He told the thing. He even told the schools that they'll be out.
Yeah.
So nobody's missing them. Well, all the lights, not all of them, but some of the light bulbs start going out. The light bulbs are starting to go out, and so they're like, 1, they ain't got no LED bulbs.
Yeah.
2, what the fuck? Why aren't they changing them?
Right.
So they start to get suspicious, and so they call the police, and they're like, you really need to go check this out. So on December 7th,
holy
almost
fuck.
a month, like it was 29 days.
Yeah.
Almost a month. Police go to the house to check on them.
Yeah.
And so when they get into the house, they hear the music going on, turn the music down, start looking around, and find all the bodies in the ballroom. And then right behind them is on the desk is the note. And in the note is where he tells them, or, you know, he says like, oh, and by the way, my mom's upstairs.
Yeah.
And so they go up there and find her too. So now they're like, holy fuck, where is John List? Clearly, this is him. He fucking admits to it in the letter. But where is he? And also, how the fuck do we find him? Because we have no photographs of him now. I know. I was like, why is he? Oh. Like, he really did a pretty damn good job of planning this out.
Yes.
So.
Damn, that did not even make sense to me.
I know. And then in the letter, he talks about how, like, that he only killed his mom because, basically to protect her, because he had killed all of them and didn't want her going through, like, finding the bodies at her age. It would kill her and put her through that kind of thing. So.
Even though he shot her in her left eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, poison her then. Good God.
Well, and, you know, if you think about, when you have a manhunt like this, like, the first 48 hours are the most crucial, right? Well, he had
made a whole fucking show about it.
Mm-hmm. He had a month's head start on him.
Yeah.
You know, and so they found his car at the JFK airport, but then they couldn't find any evidence that he actually got on a flight. So they're like, fuck, where is he? And so at the time in New Jersey, they were saying that this was the most notorious crime to happen since the kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby.
Damn.
And so, because you remember this is 1971 too. One as well. Not 71 too. So they did find out, though, that he had traveled by train from New Jersey to Michigan and then Colorado. And then they lost him. They can't find him.
Yeah.
And so they're doing this huge man search. 50 statewide man search. Manhunt.
I was like, that doesn't sound right.
They have an arrest warrant for him, like, in all 50 states. It's like this huge deal, this huge manhunt. And they cannot fucking find him.
Right.
So.
He was in New Jersey all along.
Flash forward 18 years.
Holy shit.
Still haven't found him. Don't know where the fuck he is. So they decide to run him on an episode of America's Most Wanted. This is like, I think the first or the second season. I think the second of America's Most Wanted. Because they still can't find him. So they had a forensic artist by the name of Frank Bender to sculpt a, like, recreation, an aged clay bust of his face, of what he may look like in 1989.
Right.
Again, 18 years later. And so they aired that on America's Most Wanted. And right after they aired it, they got a hit.
Damn.
And so this neighbor calls the FBI and is like, I think my neighbor is John List.
Yeah.
And so the FBI starts doing some digging. Well, ended up, he did settle in Denver in early of 1970, took an accounting job under the name of Robert Peter Clark, who went by Bob. That was one of the names of his college classmates. But the guy whose name he stole didn't actually ever know him. He just chose his name out of a hat, basically. And
no, he probably had like this huge man crush on him the whole time. Like,
right. He probably.
I wish I could be him. He's so smart. He's so blah, blah, blah.
He's so manly and blah, blah, blah. So, which is why all that shit Helen was telling him was triggering. Anyway, so he was a comptroller at a paper box manufacturer outside Denver, joined a Lutheran church there, ran the carpool for church members who were, like, didn't have transportation. Like, you know, how they call them shut-ins. I hate saying that, but drove the carpool to get people to church that couldn't otherwise. So while he was doing all of that, he met a lady by the name of Dolores Miller, and they got married in 1985.
Whoa.
So in 1988, they moved to Virginia, where he continued working as an accountant under the name Bob Clark. So on June 1st, 1989, is when he was arrested at that Richmond accounting firm where he worked, because, again, it was the neighbor, but that neighbor was from Denver that was like, hey, this is this guy. So, of course, he was like, for a couple of months, it's like, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. And they extradited him back to Jersey. And then they had, you know, fingerprints that matched his Army records and fingerprints that matched from the crime scene. And so finally he was like, okay, I am really John List. And this was in February of 1990. So he held out for a few months. So it went to trial. He, of course, had to see different psychiatrists and stuff to test, and they said he had obsessive compulsive personality disorder, and that's why he had basically this compulsion to kill his family to keep them from harm. On April 12th, 1990, he was convicted on 5 counts of first-degree murder. At his sentencing, he denied responsibility. He said that, I feel that because of my mental state at the time, I was unaccountable for what happened. I ask that all affected by this for their forgiveness and understanding and prayer. But it's like, clearly that was premeditated as fuck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which means you knew what you were doing.
Yes.
Because you got the money out, canceled the school, not canceled, but you know what I mean, told them they'd be out from school, canceled your mail, canceled your milk, canceled your newspaper, canceled everything. Yeah. You knew what you were fucking doing. Burned your face out of the thing. You know, or cut it. You know, cut his face out of the stuff. Yeah. But anyway, so the judge told him that because his name is John Emil List, and the judge said that he is without remorse and without honor. It said, after 18 years, 5 months, and 22 days, it's now time for the voices of Helen, Alma, Patricia, Frederick, and John F. List to rise from the grave. And then he got 5 life sentences to be served consecutively.
Bye, boy.
Yeah. So he filed an appeal, of course, and said that because of his time served in the military, he had PTSD, and that they also argued that the letter that was found at the crime scene, that it should have been inadmissible because the letter was written to his pastor, and so basically it should have the same confidentiality of a confession to a priest because it was to his pastor. But like federal courts were like, 1, you don't have PTSD, and 2, absolutely fucking not, about the letter being being inadmissible. So he said that his quote was, I wish I had never done what I did. I've regretted my actions and prayed for forgiveness ever since.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in 2002, he had an interview with Connie Chung. And when she asked him, like, why didn't you kill yourself? He said that he believed that suicide would have barred him from heaven, where he hoped to be reunited with his family.
Oh, Lord.
Like, give me a fucking break.
Mm-mm.
So on On March 21st of 2008, while he was in prison, he died at the age of 82 from pneumonia. Okay, so aside from the actual murders themselves, this might be the saddest part to me.
Oh my God, there's a dog?
No,
Okay.
I'm being extra. So in August of 1972, this was about 10 months after the murder, someone burned down their house. And it's still unsolved to this day. But in the home was one of the ballroom ceilings had a skylight of stained glass. And it was an original signed Tiffany stained glass.
Holy frick.
Today's equivalent in money would be worth almost $600,000.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. And so now there's a new house on there that they built in 1974, but it's just like, oh God, original
Yeah.
Tiffany stained glass.
Oh my gosh.
Like, fuck. That's why I said aside from the actual murders.
Yeah.
And, the horrible loss and all of that.
Yeah. I mean, to each their own.
Yeah. So that is the familial side by John List.
Let me make a list of everything that I hated about that.
Oh my God.
I've been waiting to make that joke.
Clearly.
I'm like, list. I wonder if he likes the list.
Damn.
Okay. Loved it.
I feel like I did that one pretty quickly. I mean, like, you could have gone on and on and on and on.
Yeah, no,
about,
that
like,
was good.
his life.
Prior to everything.
Yeah, like, his life on the run and, a little bit more about the family.
That
and,
on the run because
fuck
he doesn't deserve it. Yes.
Yeah, because fuck him. But
oh my God, though, I feel so sorry for
his new wife.
Yes.
Could you imagine?
No, I'd be paranoid. Tinfoil hat, whatever. Put it on me because I would be
so fucked up after that. It's like this story could be on like 8 different ID shows. Like the one it was on. It could be on the Who the Bleep Did I Marry?
Yes. What is it when it's like The Murder Beside Me, but it's not?
Evil Lives Here.
Evil Lives Here, yes. Love Thy Neighbor. No, that's not it.
Hate Thy Neighbor. But they didn't kill each other, so that's another thing. I don't know, a lot. But this story has it all.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't get how he kills his kids, I mean, I do, in that he was, however, like whatever he was going through, like he believed it. He had made himself believe it. In his core, he did not believe that.
Right.
But he made himself do it to reconcile it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and I think it goes back to what we always say, that any extreme of anything needs to be avoided.
Yes.
He's this like ultra Lutheran Christian, avoid all things secular, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Well, now he's in the secular crowd. Well, didn't know you, won't miss you.
Yeah.
So sorry for your family, though.
I know.
Bless it. Though, honestly, I mean, I wish he would have done it a more gentle way. Because I just feel so bad. Even though they weren't looking at him, in my heart of hearts, I feel like you feel that and you're like, what the fuck, my father, and then you die. Whatever. I
don't know. I think I choose to believe that, again, them being shot in the back of the head, that I'm sure they had some sort of sense that something was happening behind them, but I think it was probably so instantaneous that it didn't register. The only person I think that suffered at all was John Jr.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much. I don't know. I'm choose to believe that he was shot in the head and he was still alive, but he wasn't aware.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that I can handle some of these stories.
But I'm like, one part of me is like, well, I'm glad he did that to his mom, only because after you get down 3 flights of stairs, I'd be like, gotta sit. And then if I see them all there and like, she can't take care of herself, all of this, like,
right. Well,
and what if she had lived there for like a month because she had everything she needed? Then it's like, oh wait, I need groceries.
Where are they? Yeah.
John.
Well, and the thing, in Your Worst Nightmare, of course it's a show, and they do reenactments, and so you don't know how much of it is true, because there's really no way you can know some of those things.
Yeah.
But, whenever he was... So his wife, part of, what she made fun of him, and that was, one segment, they were, eating dinner, but they were eating dinner out of, TV dinners.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, we're in this huge, grand, ballroom dining room thing, and we're eating TV dinners and, berating him from that. And then it shows Patty taking one of them up to the grandmother,
mm-hmm.
and then the grandmother being, really weird, because she's, old school German, Lutheran, old school, and, asking Patty, is she staying pure, basically? And Patty's like, oh, okay, I gotta go do homework, and so I think that there was just such an odd family dynamic. Just, if any of that is even remotely true, the family dynamic was just so poor that...
Yeah.
And, with the dying and seeing things or not seeing things, it showed his wife, Helen, again, just talking shit to him. And so he was like, well, you won't have to worry about that anymore. And then, shot her in the back of the head. And then it showed the daughter coming home and being like, Mom! And then him shooting her. And then that showed the kids coming in at the same time, being like, let's go play. And then they're like, Dad, no! So...
Oh, my gosh.
But they're shot in the back of the head. Mm-hmm. And so, again, I think that some of that's fluff for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm like, some stuff's had different orders and that they came home in. You know? So, I don't know. I, for my peace of mind, believe that because they were shot in the back of the head, they never saw it coming. And they were just dead.
Yeah. Bless it. Well, I hope they have peace now.
Me too.
Okay. Picture it.
Okay.
You're in a beautiful, scenic national park in South Wales.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to hike?
No.
Okay, then. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So you are in your car, not hiking.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Yep.
Air conditioner on?
Yep.
Okay.
So you leave, and after 2 turns, you drive up a road that's only used by a couple of local farmers to get their sheep up and down the hill. Authentic.
Right.
Then at the end of it, in the middle of fucking nowhere, under a mountain, it's, again, scenic, peaceful, between apple trees, there's a house. And it looks amazing. And it looks like it would be the most idyllic place. Jigsaw puzzles, that's what this is made of.
Okay.
But, dun, dun, dun.
It's haunted.
I wish I could have saw her eyes. So, it's a couple who lives there, Liz and Bill Rich.
Okay.
And this is what Liz says about it. Don't be misled. It's not always like this. Sometimes the mood in the house is so awful that you think the only escape can be to kill yourself.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Okay, so when Liz and Bill moved into this remote farmhouse, and it's at the foothills of Brecon Beacons, that's a national park, they thought that they had found the house of their dreams. A house that they can make a home, raise a family, live their best life.
Isn't that always how these stories begin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I'm building a house.
I mean, you could be building it on a burial ground.
It is. My mom's buried in the yard, and dogs and cats.
True. That sounds so... Her mom was cremated. It's not just
Yep, she's in a biodegradable urn. Well, half of her.
The other half's in the living room.
Yeah, she watches TV with me. That's why she changes the channel.
She got it right under the TV. She's like, this bitch, I can't fucking see the TV. She's got me under it. Not facing it. Son of a bitch.
Oh, damn. That is too funny. All right, so like you said, however, the next 6 years is the exact opposite of a slice of heaven. It was a living hell.
You wrote that down, didn't you?
I did.
Damn.
What? Huh.
You're so clever.
Okay. Okay, so they claim that they were terrorized by supernatural forces that drove them to the edge of sanity and almost killed them. So the land that they live on, their farm, is known as Hellfire Farms. Or Vanog, I think.
Okay.
I couldn't find a pronunciation of it. So there's that. YouTube and Google let me down.
I was going to say, they failed you.
So I'm sorry. All right. So what I'm about to tell you is their account of what happened. So they had been looking for a place to rent for months. We know how that is.
Mm-hmm.
So they were pleasantly surprised when someone offered them this amazing, idyllic slice of heaven for such a reasonable price. It was a barn that was converted in the 50s. So again, remote, just like a good old home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it had a 40-foot studio on top, like on the top floor, where Bill could paint because he's an artist. So he's like, I have my own studio. This is perfect. And like, who would not be inspired by all the scenery?
Yeah.
So Bill, like I said, he was an artist. He painted animals on like bright canvases and just, you know, living his best life, loving being inspired.
Yeah.
So the first summer was perfect. His work really took off. He was actually featured in some magazines that were local. He couldn't stop selling stuff. Like, awesome. He was
on fire.
On fire. Liz got pregnant.
Congrats.
You know, so it was just, everything was wonderful. Then in the autumn of 1989, shit started to go wrong. So they had one blissful year and then 6 not so much. The first problem was late one night. Bill was downstairs in the bathroom, you know, doing his shit. Literally. He said, quote, I remember it so well. I heard footsteps in the hall above me. Big footsteps, like a man in hobnailed boots, stomping on the floorboards. I went upstairs, and Liz was feeding the baby, and Damien was asleep in his room. There was no one else in the house.
Who's Damien?
So, let me tell you, that is Liz's stepson. It's Bill's from a previous marriage.
Gotcha. Also, what the fuck are those boots? I'm picturing...
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? Steel-toed boots.
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing, too. But I don't know.
Okay.
So, that was kind of weird, but old house, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Again, you can reason that away. Then soon the smells started happening.
Sulfur?
Mm-hmm.
Probably because they have a son named Damien.
Yes, that was a joke later on, but okay, thanks for ruining that.
Well, like when you first said Damien, and when I said, who is that, I almost said the devil.
Then they started to see apparitions. One time Bill was in his studio and paintbrushes flew through the air.
They're not supposed to do that.
No. Only in like Sword in the Stone.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have not stuttered, it would have been great.
I mean, it was a close one. You were almost really funny right then. But it did paint an image. But
shit. But you know what moment I'm picturing from Sword in the
when
Stone?
they're cleaning the kitchen.
Yes.
Of course.
But that is one of my all-time favorite movies because the female squirrel in that scene, like when they change into squirrels,
mm-hmm.
She is my spirit animal through and frickin' through. Very thirsty, knows no personal boundaries, fluffy as fuck,
mm-hmm.
and all around frickin' amazing.
You know the witch that Marlin fights?
Yes.
That's my spirit animal.
Oh my god. Yes.
It is. When she had measles. I don't know. That's when I'm most identified with her.
Oh my God. I'm dying. Oh my God. We have to watch that again so we can see me and you in our natural state. Okay. Back to the spooky ookie. I didn't write that down.
Well, I was going to say, did you make that up?
Okay. And then on top of that, Bill's luck began to change. He was, flavor of the fucking month. Mm-hmm. Couldn't sell a fucking picture.
Oh, God.
So they started collecting massive debt, Then to pile on that, they were getting unexpected high electricity bills. One bill was 750 pounds.
Cool.
Which is...
a lot more in American dollars.
Yeah, $988.43.
Fuck.
Yeah. And so Bill said that we had worked all of that out, and if we had all of our appliances running 24 hours a day, we wouldn't be able to run up a bill a quarter of that size. And so he didn't know who was using their electricity.
Yeah.
They're thinking... it's not us, so someone is stealing it.
Yeah.
Because, again, they live remotely, so if they have electricity, someone might not, whatever.
Right. Somebody's got, like, an RV parked out back.
So they called because there were huge power surges taking place on the property, even when all the lights were out, even when the family was not even there.
So how'd they know?
Because, it meters.
Oh, okay.
And, one time they had someone come out, but, read this. He said, okay, turn off everything. So they turned off everything, at the breaker. Mm-hmm. And the meter's still just, running, racking up the thing. And he's like, you must have missed a light.
Not if they did it from the breaker.
Right. And he's like, no, everything's Gucci. And he's like, I don't know why that could happen.
Because it's a ghost. I know why. Mm-hmm.
So then after that, Liz saw something like white flashing lights. She described them as being almost lasers at the barn at night. Well, then a little bit after that, their animals started turning up dead.
Don't hurt the animals.
Yeah, it was like a pig went mad. It would, be one of those that come inside, go out in the barn, whatever. Yeah. It just started squealing everywhere and, being hostile. Mm-mm. So they had to put him down.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And it was like a pet, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was just, a really hard decision. But they have young kids.
Right.
Because by this time, she's had another kid.
Okay.
So then some lambs... they were being born blind, deformed, or dead.
God.
And it was all after she saw these laser lights in the barn. So every animal that was pretty much healthy would just randomly turn up dead. Okay, so then after that, she saw the flashes of light happen inside of her house. And they were going room to room. Mm-hmm. So she's like, all right. This is not someone stealing electricity from us. This is not the provider being,
sketch.
Mm-hmm. Something is in this house with us that we don't know about. Liz, they had a show it was a documentary called True Horror. It was a local station. And so she was interviewed. And so in the show, she said, when I went into the barn and I could see the blue-white lasers, I was terrified. You know that logically this cannot happen, but it has.
Damn.
And oh my God, that just breaks my heart too, to be what do I do?
Yeah. Nothing. You can't do anything.
No. So while they're in the house, Liz and Bill, they claim that they felt watched and that they just could feel strangers' eyes drilling into their backs. Mm-hmm. So they're on edge. They're, it's uneasy, unsettling, and They have young kids. All this shit. It's not going well. Massive debt.
Yeah.
And electric bill that's just racking up.
Could you imagine?
No. And like, what do you do? Oh, I have a supernatural power here.
Right.
They're going to be like, we don't care. Pay your fucking bill or it's going to be turned off. Though maybe they could have been like, Casper, turn on the lights.
Right.
Instead of the clapper, it would have been a Casper.
Oh my God. Did you write that down or did you just come up with that?
I just came up with that.
That was good. I like it.
Thank you. One night, back to not Casper. This was not a friendly ghost. One night, Liz said she woke up to see a tall hooded figure standing there at the foot of her bed.
Nope.
She said the feeling of being watched is actually more terrifying than seeing things. If something is watching you, you're assuming that the next move is to do something. Raw panic would come over me. I knew something was going to happen.
Shit.
So around this same time, their two children who were young, Ben and Rebecca, they began to see a figure of an old woman who would appear in the darkened corners of their playroom.
Mm-mm.
She would just sit there silently, like staring at them, but never say anything, never really move, you know. Rebecca, now as an adult, she said that she never spoke and she never moved. At that age, you just assume it's normal. I don't think we ever told anyone about it. So, you know, they're fine. They're just like, okay, she's watching us, whatever. But it's still creepy, you know? Like, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. But then Liz, she said she saw this old lady on occasion 5 times.
Mm-mm.
So she wasn't just in the playroom,
right?
You know.
Well, I cannot even imagine.
No. And I don't think as a kid, well, because one, I mean, I have to put myself in their situation. They're out here, like, in God's country, and they probably don't know, but, like, as a kid, if someone then was, like, lurking in the shadows, not talking, I'd been like, stranger danger, get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But again,
but this was
we had OG parents.
Well, and also this was 1980, probably in the 90s now. But,
yeah,
you know, like it was really just kind of where people were starting to be more into the stranger danger, though.
That's when we were.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. Like it was, I mean, maybe it hadn't made it out there yet.
Maybe. So at one point, Liz found an old photo in the house. And when she looked at it, she recognized that old lady. And she found out that that was the mother of the previous owner of the farm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Was she a good witch or a bad witch?
That is funny. So another thing about Damien, he was 14 years old at the time. And he lived with them for a few years. When they moved to the farmhouse, though, shit started getting weird with him, and they were convinced that he was possessed.
Oh, God.
So what do good parents do when their kid's possessed?
Ship them off to boarding school.
Exactly.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Oh, my God, that's great. How'd they afford it?
Who knows? You know, you make do.
You make sacrifices that live without power. That's so funny.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Not call a priest. Like,
yeah.
all the things I could have said.
I know. After the hauntings started, Damien, you know, Devil Damien, he painted his room blood red.
Oh, God.
And he became increasingly erratic and irritated. They said developed a permanent sneer, and that his eyes would radiate blazing fury. I mean, he's a teenager.
I was going to say, maybe he just had resting bitch face. I mean, don't we all?
Right? One time they said that he spat in his father's face, and Bill, quote, saw it wasn't Damien, that someone else was behind his face. In his face, much older and incalculably, Oh my God, how do you say that? Incalculably.
Girl, I don't know.
Incalculably. Okay. I don't know why Bill has to be so smart.
He's Bill Nye. The science guy.
We knew.
I know. I just had to finish it.
Okay. He was evil.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
There was no denying it. He was evil.
Yes. So they're like, look, he loves Red. He's crazy. He's mad. Like, all of these check off for puberty and adolescence, but they're like, no.
Straight to the devil.
Yes. Because their young son could never be like this if he wasn't possessed.
He's fucking 14.
Right. And in the middle of nowhere and...
bored out of his mind. Mm-hmm. No video games. No Game
No dirty mags. Nothing.
Look, no Game Boys to be found. Nothing but weird-ass pigs.
Oh, shit. Never mind. I ain't even going there.
Don't go there. I know where you were going.
Yep. Not doing it. So, fast forward. This is just like to end on this part of it. Mm-hmm. He returned years later as a stable adult.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. They still maintain that he was possessed, but, I mean...
Meanwhile, he's like, I hated my stepmom. I was jealous of my two younger siblings.
Right.
And I was bored.
Mm-hmm. I mean, did you read his autobiography?
No, I just know kids. Which is why I have no kids.
Look, I was about to say, wait, do you drive a white van with no windows? So, we're done with Damien. Because, you know, he's out of their lives.
Mm-hmm. Out of sight, out of mind.
Right. One less mouth to feed. With all of this, again, they're on the break of, like, a fucking nervous breakdown. Bill's personality began to change.
Yeah, she shipped his kid off, and he can't sell any damn paintings.
He can't sell. That's how you said it. He can't sell.
Well, because whatever.
Okay. So he would spend more time up in his studio, and sometimes he would work throughout the night. And again, he's not selling paintings.
Right.
So Liz is struggling to hold it together. Bill's ferociously working on his fucking paintings, like painting with his toes and shit. Not really. I just ad-libbed that, people.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I mean, it is a thing.
Yeah. You're trying to paint with your toes. So Bill became isolated from his family. You know, he is consumed with the house, doing this painting, like doing paintings and stuff. And they began to be not the bright, cheerful art that he had before with all the animals and stuff. It was dark and abstract, and you can just feel the torment in it from the uneasiness of the house and all of that. 2 examples of his artwork. One had a depiction of corpses floating through the air.
Damn.
And then another one had brides, but they had blood gushing beneath their veils.
Well, that, to me, is some serious Freud shit coming out on his paintings. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it speaks more to his marriage than fucking a possession.
Right.
I'm just saying. I'm no psychologist. I just play one on the podcast.
So, more so than just that, he became obsessed with the occult. He bought old books about the supernatural. And so he was like, we're going to be mentally tormented by this supernatural force. I have to learn about it. Like, that's what he said at the beginning. But then it's just growing and growing and growing. And he's, again, consumed by this.
Yeah.
So in the True Horror, that documentary, they showed some of his artwork, like a recreation and stuff. And it was like satanic, quote unquote, symbols and whatnot. But he did have one commission piece, and it was for a horse for a local farmer. So he painted it just like his old self, but he just kept having trouble with the legs. So he'd go in and try to change them a little bit. just took forever. And he's like, this is what I can do. Like, he just could not get them right. Well, after he finished the work, he learned that the horse itself died after suffering an injury to its hind legs.
Oh, God.
But it's just weird
that
because
he couldn't do the legs.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So I don't know if that's chicken or egg, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if he caused that, or not caused it, but whatever is in their house, if that was that, or kind of like an omen. You know what I mean? What caused what?
Yeah.
So one night, they woke up to Bill and Liz. They woke up to the sound of their bedroom door creaking open. And then they said that in their ears, they could hear like a rush of blood pulsing through. And they said it was almost deafening because it was just like in their ears, like a whoosh, and then just like, I feel like your heartbeat kind of in your ears, but so loud.
Kind of like in movies when they...
Yes, that's what I'm picturing. They're like dealing with all of this, like what the fuck is happening? And then they're horrified when they see a blackened skeleton hand curl its fingers around the latch and then slam the door shut.
With its fingers still in it?
And then it was gone.
Damn.
But can you imagine like a blackened skeleton?
And I don't know why the fuck you had to do your hands like that.
Yeah, it's like finger by finger. Just
I get it. Quit doing it.
What about this finger? Is that better?
Oh my God.
So then, in a fucking panic, because they're like, who, what, you know?
Yeah.
Turn on their table lamp, and there's a hooded figure standing motionless at the foot of their bed. And they're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And then it's gone.
What?
Yeah. So, double whammy. So, all of this is happening, and people are like, well, it's just happening to them. So, like, can we believe that?
Yeah.
Well, they had a camper in the fields out back because...
I told you they did. That's why their electricity's getting used.
Well, no, he wasn't like... It wasn't a camper. It was like...
An RV?
No, it was like a person camping because it's a national forest. And so they're like...
Their electricity.
So he said that he saw a silhouette of a man. Oh, man, I thought you were going to sing it.
I see it. No, because I was thinking... The reason why I missed that opportunity was because how you said...
Your eyes were closed?
No, because of how you said he saw. I was like, she shed by the seashore.
Somebody lit my she shed on fire.
My she shed by my seashore.
Okay. So he saw a silhouette of a man.
Baba Ganoush, Baba Ganoush.
Oh my God. You're terrible.
What's the words? Oh, see, you don't even know.
Yeah, it's that scaramouche, bada bada bandango.
See, I like Baba Ganoush, Baba Ganoush.
Don't do that. I'm not even hungry, but I want Baba Ganoush now.
You're welcome.
That's not a good thing. Okay, so he saw a silhouette of a man looming upstairs in the window. And it was like all night. You know, he'd look and the man's there. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, when he told Bill and Liz this, because it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what were y'all doing kind of thing?
They're like, oh no, we were asleep.
Yeah.
Like, we good. We didn't see us. And again, it was a figure of a man, which they have seen.
Right.
Now on 2 occasions.
And now it's finally not just them that's seeing it.
Yeah. Okay, so again, they're at their breaking point, you know, on the edge of sanity. So Liz is like, look, I'm about to call this Baptist minister, David Homewood, to exercise a property, something. And
do Baptists do that?
I don't know. It said Baptist minister, so I was like, okay. So David, the minister, he came and he was like, I want to save you and Bill from the devil.
Oh, God.
I see him all around, all the times, you know, trying to threaten to steal the soul of the good.
Can that happen, though?
I have no idea.
Okay, go ahead.
But it's just like, oh my gosh, like, where did you find him? 1-800-NEED exercising. So David went around each room, like, checking to see what he feels in the room. Mm-hmm. So again, he was going through the rooms, checking to see what he could feel, what he could sense, and just trying to see what might have caused this. And he went to Bill's studio, and he was looking around, like, looking at his paintings, and Bill went in there, and he's like, you do not need to be in here. And David's like, no, I do. I'm going around, blah, blah, blah. And Bill's like, you do not need to be in here, like, up in his face.
Yeah.
And he had, like, that weird wide-eyed...
Kind of like Damien did.
Yeah, yeah. Blazing fury. But this is what I wrote down. He had that weird wide-eyed crazed look, like a demon had him by the balls and squeezed.
Oh my God.
So David's like, look, I see some shit up in here. Well, he didn't say shit, but I see some stuff in here. You have some books on supernatural, the occult, these paintings. You need to burn all of this.
Oh, okay.
And he said that the belief is that those things acted as a gateway to another dimension in which spirits might pass. However, I feel like that kind of goes back to the hands that resist him painting and stuff. Like, if he was feeling any certain way or whatever and put that into that painting, you know what I mean? Like, it could be, like, transferred or something. I don't, like, you know, how they have those haunted paintings and all of that. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, whatever.
Well, here's the thing. Is that if the house really was haunted from the jump, I mean, I really don't believe that him bringing in those occult books did anything.
No, but it could give them more strength.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to burn shit like Ouija boards and stuff.
Right.
So that was a bad idea, Pastor Dave.
Well, yeah, that is his name. Never mind. I'm sorry. I don't call him at home, so I didn't know he liked to be called Dave. So, at this time, like, Bill is like, sure, okay, bye-bye, Dave. And, you know, Liz is like over there doing the sign of the cross. And Bill's like, girl, bye, I'm up in my studio. You know? So, again, they are growing apart because she's scared for her life and he's, like, living it up.
Right. So
then he began to create even more disturbing images and, again, distance himself more. Then, at one point, like, in their lowest point, Liz said she was inside their house and she saw a 7-foot tall figure moving across her kitchen dressed in all black with the head of a bird.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So she was like, last straw, cannot stay here anymore, freaking the fuck out. Like, what am I seeing? So she, like, gathered her kids and was like, we gone.
Yeah.
Peace out. So she is, like, knocking on Bill's door in the studio, like, we have to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I don't even understand. Like, I cannot comprehend what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It's steadily going. And
it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And stronger.
And he doesn't answer.
Because it was him.
Just does not answer. And she's like, Bill, come on. We are leaving tonight. Like, we gone.
Yeah.
Won't answer. So she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I've got to protect my kids.
Yeah.
Got to protect myself. He's a grown man. Like, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. So she leaves with the kids. Goes to her mom's. So while Bill was alone, he began to spiral even further downward. He began having terrible thoughts of self-harm, and he would actually picture himself, like, have visions of him cutting himself with a knife, hurting and like harming Liz and the kids.
Oh, God.
It, was just like consuming him, and he was in another state, Mm-hmm. Well, so Liz hadn't heard from him in like a week, I'm sure. Like, I don't know. I can't remember the time frame. But she's like, okay, I need to go check on him. Because, like, haven't heard from him, and like we married and he's the father of my kids.
Yeah.
And I don't want Damien all by myself.
Damn.
So she returned, found that the power had been cut off.
Damn, in a week?
Well, they were behind like months.
True.
The final like demands for bill payments were littering the floor, just a fucking mess. She said that there were manic drawings all over the walls.
Oh, God.
And all I can picture is, like, she went into Stranger Things, like, when she's, like, trying to communicate with her son.
Yes.
It's, like, all over that. So she, entered this house, and it's total chaos. So then, cherry on top, she found Bill, and he's standing almost in a comatose state, and he's muttering about dead bodies walking through the house at night. And just, like the muttering, stuttering, just, what the fuck are you talking about? You're babbling. But he's, like, dead-eyed, standing still, and, like, where just the top of his body is kind of, like...
swaying a little.
But, like, that fidgety, like, sway, but not fluid. It was, like, a twitch, almost. Yeah. Liz is, like, 911, emergency, but not to 911. Sorry, that was terrible, because you can actually call 911. It's to David, old Dave. And she's like, I need you. Like, Bill's in another realm right now. He is fucked up. So she said, forgive my French. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
So David comes, he returned. Maybe he did come. I don't know. He returns.
Finishes up with his girlfriend. Comes. Goes, no.
He makes a bonfire and throws all of the books, all the paintings in it. Okay? So they're standing around the fire, chanting a blessing, like, for purity of the property. And then at that moment, like, while they're chanting this, a book comes, like, bing! Out of the fire, and it hits Dave right in the freaking head.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. And Liz said it was like Satan was trying to get him back.
Oh, Lord.
But I'm just like, oh my gosh. That's so, like, what? Be like, not the face, okay? Not the face.
I mean, that's my moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been a televangelist.
For real.
Had they not smacked him in the face.
No, that would give him cred.
True.
You see this? I went through the fire of hell.
Literally.
And I
came out victorious.
Yes.
You give tithing and you give tithing.
Oh, God. So that wasn't the only exorcism performed, because it worked for a little bit. But it was, I mean, probably because he was a Baptist minister.
I was going to say.
And he's not that. So they actually got this kind of a celebrity exorcist, Eddie Burks. He made a name for himself in the 1990s on ghost hunters.
Damn!
Mm-hmm. He was credited for ridding the ghost of a Queen Mary execution victim, like, on that. And so he was just kind of well known. Well, he's a little interesting and a little kooky-doo.
Well, I mean, I feel like you have to be.
Right? But he says, I don't know why this article had this, but I'm just going to read it. He said that he's still in contact with Anne Boleyn.
Okay.
And she is apparently still fuming at Henry VIII and the whole beheading situation almost 500 years later.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, duh.
Right? I mean, I would be too.
Yeah.
I mean, what else does she have to do for the next 500 years? Just sit there and fucking stew.
Right. Oh, God. Again, I don't know why they included that, but that cracked me up. Like, who is your best friend? Well, I'll tell you about Anne Boleyn. Me and her gab all the fucking time.
She is so pissed at her ex.
He did her wrong.
He ghosted her, literally. Made her a fucking ghost.
Oh my God. Burks arrived and he soon identified a mysterious, quote unquote, pre-Christian presence.
Question.
Yes.
Was hubby back to normal at this point, or was he still comatose practically?
He was more normal. He wasn't like muttering like dead buddies. Okay, so he had that pre-Christian presence, and he claimed that a creature, a powerful evil force that was conjured by a Celtic tribe, could be disarmed by his quote unquote power of imagination.
For the small price of $1 million.
With his pinky to his mouth.
Yes.
So he proceeded to perform an exorcism with Bill and Liz in the house with him. And he tells a couple that he is dragging the creature into the Christian era.
Okay.
So at this point, Bill said, like, he can't see anything. Like, okay, you know. But then he started to feel a tingle in his fingers, a tightness in his chest, and a pressure at the base of his skull. Then, right as this is happening, there is a crackle of power that blasted through the tape recorder in the corner of the room. And it was like a lightning surge, you know, like a loud fucking noise. Like right at this point where he's feeling this, the guy's saying that he's dragging him into the Christian era.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, what? And so then the house grew noticeably brighter, and then Burks like let out a breath, like, I think I will let the thing rest now. And that ended the exorcism. End scene. And so it was okay after that.
What?
Mm-hmm. It was okay. But it still wasn't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But the damage was done. And even though the house was okay, Bill and Liz wasn't. And they got a divorce.
Oh, bless it.
Mm-hmm. And Bill actually died before the documentary was done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I didn't really get good, information on him or anything. But this struck me, and I was just like, oh, gosh. So, Liz, this is how she kind of ended the documentary. She said, there are a lot of people who just float through life, and it's all nice, perfect, and easy. I've wished 1,000,000 times I could have had one of those lives.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So there was a guy named Mark Chadburn. He was a journalist, or is. I don't know if he's dead.
Damn.
He is a journalist, and he covered the case later. And he said it seemed like a really nice place, like we said, but there was a reputation that the house was haunted, like before.
Mm-hmm.
He said that when he spoke to a lot of the neighbors, they weren't really surprised at the goings-on at the house. And he said that he interviewed priests, ministers, preachers, and spiritualists. And one of them said that they believed it was a witch's coven there in the past, which performed rituals in the building. And then another one said devil worship, or that an ancient Celtic deity that had been summoned on that plot of land before.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that's what he could find out, like, whatever. But while he was researching and interviewing them, he was in Bill's studio, and he said he felt something unseen, obviously, but touch him on the nape of his neck.
Right where he got that pain.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I could find on that. And because he also wrote a story, so a lot of the same shit's in there.
Yeah.
But, so they think all of that. However, Bill and Liz, they blamed another entity, and that was the Egyptian god Horus, because years before they moved there, they enjoyed a holiday in Egypt. So they visited the pyramid of Cheops, and they actually went into the structure's burial chamber. And Liz also witnessed the tiny lights like lasers there.
Oh.
And so then they had some nightmares after going there. And Bill said he suffered dreams plagued by a beaked or hooked nose figure.
Like she saw.
Resembling the Egyptian falcon god Horus.
Oh.
And he is the god who supposedly guarded the tombs of the dead against unwelcome visitors. And so they were like, shit, is he haunting us or cursed us because they entered the sacred tomb?
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. And so that made me think about that Egyptian tomb that they opened, that sarcophagus. And it's like, this was years later. So I'm not saying that's what happened, but like how people are like, ooh, a curse, blah, 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 blah. And other people are like, nothing's happened, whatever. But like, what if in a couple of years something does happen?
Yeah.
And like, we don't associate it with that.
Yeah.
But just weird. But yes, that kind of goes back to what she saw in that kitchen that time.
Damn.
So that is the story of Hellfire Farms with Liz and Bill Rich and their possessed son, Damien, and the two other kids.
Yeah. That are totally fine.
Yeah. That is it.
Awesome. I mean, definitely some like
yeah.
things. But I mean, that ending kind of just pulled it all together, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that really does make sense.
Well, it's hard because, again, they don't have a lot of evidence like other people have had before, you know, but also, I mean, again, they don't really have, they're not making money off of this.
Right.
You know? So, I don't know. Bless her heart, even if what they lived with, hell, it could have been like a poltergeist almost if they were having uneasiness in their marriage and then that just kind of went on, you know?
I just hate that no matter if the ghost stuff was real or not, it put such a strain on them that they couldn't work it out.
Yeah.
I hate that for them.
Yeah.
And the kids.
And the kids.
Okay. What did we learn?
Okay, so this is what I was going to say. Don't judge a book by its cover. Because, like I said, it looked idyllic, and this was, you know, a slice of heaven, but it was turmoil for them, and it tore their family apart.
Yeah. Well, that also goes along with John List, too. Don't judge a book by its cover, because they had this huge house, appeared to be this, like, upstanding Lutheran family.
He fucking lost his job, went to the train station, like,
and it was all a fucking lie.
Yeah. So definitely don't judge it by just a glance. Okay, number 2, I would say be honest with your family and yourself, because John, he was so scared of not fitting that mold and disappointing his wife, who constantly berated him, and he wasn't good enough like her ex-husband. And so better than being a failure in her eyes, he killed her.
Yeah.
So it's like,
be honest with your family.
Be honest with your family. Also, I feel like with the split of Bill and Liz, how they were, they weren't honest with themselves.
Yeah.
You know? And so Bill was like, oh, I'm looking at this to see what's going on, but he wasn't. He was being, like, led to look into it to, like, harness more shit.
Yeah, like, harness more energy and create a source, basically.
Like, he was, he wasn't trying to help the situation at all.
But I think that he thought he was, though.
It's almost like that was the Wells' version of Amityville Horror, but it didn't end in, like, bloodshed.
Yeah. Oh, 3. Check on your people.
Yes.
I mean, the fucking list people, nobody saw him for a month.
Mm-hmm.
Which, granted, he had set some things into play, you know, for it to, for them to not. But, like, if they're supposed to be gone, and you hear music and you see lights, like, to me, that would cue me in, like, something's up. Like, wait, I thought they were supposed to be gone.
Yeah.
And then Liz not checking on her husband for a week. Like, when you said the first time when she was, like, knocking on his door, like, we're leaving today, and he didn't answer, I was like, oh my God, he's killed himself in there.
Right.
You know,
I
that was my thought.
broken down the fucking door.
Yeah, there was no way. So she waited a week, and then when she got there, the state that he was in.
Yeah.
So, check on your people.
Yeah. Because even though the haunting got easier after everything, you know he never came back from that.
I was going to say, you don't know what he went through in that week.
Yeah.
Like, to be in, like, almost a catatonic state.
Yeah.
It was not okay. What, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, and just think about if there was no lights on, and they're in the middle of a national park, it's pitch black at night.
Right.
That can make you go mad anyway. You know, you see shit, and then if you think your house is haunted or whatever, like, I cannot even imagine. Don't judge a book by its cover. Be okay with being yourself. It's okay. Live in the imperfection. You know, I mean...
Nobody's perfect.
Right. Don't take the drastic measures to protect your image.
Yeah.
You know, if that's not truly who you are.
Right.
It's okay. And number 3 is...
Check on your people.
Yes, check on your people.
And remember...
Creep it real and don't get scared.